You know, I was walking down my trail. I've made a trail through here so Carol and I can do our walking and down through our field so we can kind of, the older you get, the more exercise we need, and the Lord knows we need to do more of it. I do, or at least I do, but yeah, and a lot of times when we're walking, we come across things like this out here. Since it's out in the field and away from everything, you can see these. I don't know what these are. I know there's a name for them, and I can't, for the life of me, I can't think of them. But if you look real close, they're real pretty, really, when you look at them. And out in the field, they would be pretty, I guess. There's all kind of things like this that grow out there. But around here in East Texas, these are thorns. And buddy, you step on them, and if you're on the wrong kind of shoe, tennis shoes, you don't want to step on them in tennis shoes or anything like that, because them things, they're pretty, have little flowers. But buddy, I want to tell you, they'll hurt you. And a lot of times when we go through life and on our trails, we hit things every now and then that hurt us. And they kind of discourage us as we face in our walk with the Lord when we're trying. Sometimes we go down a well-worn trail. You know, we get used to doing things a certain way, and we just keep going down the same trail. But as time goes, sometimes when things like this grow and get in the way. But we have to recognize that these things happen. What kind of things am I talking about like this? Maybe some things have been said about me or you know, when we're in our walk that's not true. Or maybe somebody misunderstood what we were. Maybe something happened that caused somebody to get hurt, or, you know, in our walk with each other. But see, as Christians, we take a trail that other people are not willing to take. The people of the world don't even know it is. But see, this may be the world. Let's say this is the world around us, around all this. But see, but through it all is a trail, is a road, and it's a narrow road. It's a road that's hard to take sometimes. When everybody else is doing something different, you're going down a different trail. And you're going to be out of place, especially if you're seeking the Lord. Unless you're with people that are like-minded, you are. But even when you're with people with a like mind, sometimes there's differences. There's thorns gets in the way. Misunderstandings gets in the way. Things are said sometimes that people don't really mean. Or maybe you're in a bad mood and you take it differently than it was meant to be. Or you misunderstood it. Or maybe you took it, whatever it is that you do. But on our journey, if our heart is toward the Lord, if our heart is toward the spirit of seeking and searching the heart of the Lord, searching for answers, when we're digging, there has to be something. The hurt is in here, and it's that hurt that hurts us in our relationship with the Lord. We may be justified in our resentment or hurt. We may be, but we have to grab a hold of that. We have to arrest that, put that to stop, because it's going to cause us to stumble in our spiritual walk. It separates us from one another. Division is one of the worst things out there. Division between Christians. I'm not talking about doctrines and teachings. There's all kind of that. I'm talking about if you love the Lord and I love the Lord, somehow we've got to walk that path together. There has to be a joining of Christians. There has to be a coming together. See, we have to walk a trail through this midst, all of us here, out there, and we're going to come across things like this. This is here, has to come up. For Carol and I'm going to take it, and it comes up, but it takes work. It takes work. It's not going to come up by itself. We can say, well, they can be what they are. Maybe that's somebody, I don't know. Maybe that's a relationship I shouldn't have. Maybe that's a relationship, or I'm listening to something, false rumors. maybe whatever it is. It doesn't make it. But if it's hurting my relationship with my brothers and my sisters, and it's a fault, and surely there is faults. If somebody tells you there's no faults, I want to tell you, it's just a matter, we just ignore it, pretend like it doesn't exist. Well, that's going to hurt somebody. Now, I can carry it, and that's going to hurt somebody. If I don't get it out of this trail, Carol and I, one of us is going to get hurt with it. And I don't want that. Maybe one of the grandkids, well, not now, but at one time, they would have come, and maybe they'd get hurt. But we can get these things out. There's no reason to leave them in the trail. There's no reason to leave things inside your heart that separates you from the other people. If you know you're bitter, if you're hurting, you got anger, you need to take it to the Lord and ask the Lord to find out what the answer is. Find peace in your spirit. You know, I look for that peace that passes all understanding myself. You know, this didn't take me very long. I can take it there and I can take it somewhere and get rid of it. I don't have to. You know, if I let these grow, what happens? Seeds grow. They have seeds. There's seeds all over there. Every little corner right there is a seed. And it'll multiply so fast, and pretty soon this whole trail, and we wouldn't be able to walk on it. We wouldn't. It would take us away from what we want. We like this little trail. It's our trail, and we need to maintain it. It's our work. My heart is my heart. It's not somebody else's. I need to maintain it. My relationship with the Lord. It's my relationship, not somebody else's. So it doesn't make a difference what somebody else says. I need to maintain it between me and God. And you know, if I have aught against someone, if somebody's hurt me, and I'm holding that inside my heart, I need to go to them. I need to go to them and I need to talk and say, well, let's work this out. There's nothing here. Well, they don't believe like I do. They don't think like I do. They're not somebody like I want to be around. Well, I'm sorry. If you don't want to be around them, don't be around them. But don't let bitterness go in your heart. Don't let hurt go in your heart. Don't let hatred or division separate you. Don't let the love of the Lord separate you from people just because they don't think like you do. Sometimes we have to hold our heart in a different place as Christians. See, that's what the world does, is they hold it. You don't think like me, so the world is wrong. You know, see, now look, I stepped back in the other hole because I didn't cover it up. See, we can leave a scar so deep, and it leaves a great gaping hole. We need to fill it up with the Word. We need to fill it up with, Lord, give me a heart of peace with that. Give me some joy in my heart. Lord, I'm hurting. Lord, help me fill this void that's in my heart, this emptiness. Lord, let me feel a bit better in my spirit. You know, there's all kind of things in here. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to cover that hole up in a minute. But there's other things on our trail. I'm going to take you down here on something and show you something. It's down here a little ways. Just a minute. You can see these things are all over the place. Look at this. All over. I'm fixing to get them here in a minute. And of course you can't do that with this going, but I wanted to show you something else that gets in your trail. If I can remember where it was at. Oh, there it is. I see it. Right there. Sometimes there's cavities and pits, holes that are in your way and you don't even know they're there, and you can fall into them if you ain't careful. Steer around them, see. Don't fall in the pit with everybody else. If somebody's in the pit and you can help them, pull them out. But don't get in there yourself. You can't get into the pit and pull somebody else out of the pit, and you can't do that. You can't. But here's another thing. I think the biggest enemy of our biggest enemy, one of the biggest problems we have, is I think of thoughts. I think of thoughts. when we think of thinking and all these, everything coming in my heart, and why did they do that, and why I wish somebody would correct them. I wish somebody come to them. I want this, that, and other, and we just throw ourselves into a tizzy trying to think things out. But here, look at this. Watch. Now, watch what happens. These are the thoughts that come into your head. These are fire ants, by the way. They're in the trail, but look at them come up. You see them? Those boogers get onto you, and they'll hurt you. They'll sting you and everything else. Guess where they're at? They're on the trail where we walk, where we try to do our walking. Now, if we were to hit that, they'd climb up our knees and we'd get stung. And just like thoughts do, negative thoughts, thoughts of rebuke, thoughts of vengeance, thoughts of retaliation, thoughts of unforgiveness, thoughts that hold us back from thinking clearly and receiving of the Lord. See, your salvation, the truth is, hearing from God is your answer. Not trying to think it through on your own terms. Trying to fix it on yourself. That's works. Trying to fix the situation yourself is works. But getting before the Lord and saying, Lord, what do I do about this? Learning how to seek the Lord. Show us the way, Lord. Show us the truth. And most of the time, it's what's happening inside me. And if I release it inside in me, see, whatsoever is bound in the earth, think about the scripture, whatsoever is bound in the earth is bound in the heavens. And the reason why it's bound in my spirit. It's bound in my heavens. It's bound in my thoughts. And boy, and every time I turn around, I'm thinking. But if whatever's loosed in heaven, in my thoughts, and when I release them and give them to the Lord, I turn them over to the Lord, and I release them in my spirit, that hurt, that bitterness, and those things that bind me up. And when I release them, then on earth is released. In other words, it don't have a hold on me. I can hear the Lord, and I can see clearly, and I'm released from it. It doesn't hold me prisoner anymore. And this is what we're seeking. And we're seeking to find peace in our heart. The joy of the Lord is my strength. Search your heart. Find out what's in there separating you. If you have aught against your brother, go to him, or brother or sister. Go to him. Talk to him. Get it worked out. If it doesn't work, separate. But don't hold the hatred in your heart or the bitterness or anything else. Let God be your guide. God bless. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. Amen.